He's an emerging artist in the world of Christian and hip-hop music. He burst onto the music scene at a young age, and he's using his talent to inspire others. He is live with me in studio. Zauntee, it is an honor to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful to be
My pleasure, absolutely. So let's begin at the beginning.
Yeah.
Tell me about your music journey. What is it that inspired you to pursue not just a music career, but a career in hip-hop music?
Yeah. When I was 16 years old, I wrote a mission statement. I want to make music people want with the message that they need.
Oh, wow.
By the time I was finishing high school, I had kind of come to this conclusion that, I'd lived so much of my life trying to fit in, trying to be accepted, and, doing what it takes to be noticed or to be respected in some capacity. And I realized my mom had kind of found out how I was living in end of high school. She's like, look, in 10 years, because I grew up in church, so in 10 years, she was like, you'll have Jesus to lean on when you're done with the act, when you're done with this, pursuit of escapism.
Oh, wow.
And the people you're around right now won't have that answer. When you're ready to find Jesus, you'll have an answer to lean on, but they won't have that. So you have a responsibility to represent him. And I don't know, that woke me up out of the cycle that I was in at the time. And I'd always been passionate about music. So I was like, okay, if I'm responsible to represent what I believe, what better way to bring it to my generation than make music that they want with the message that they need.
Nice.
And so I started just doing everything I could to learn how to make beats, learn how to produce, learn how to, record my vocals and all that stuff, and just put, end of high school, putting songs out from my bedroom, and then it just kind of started from there.
Nice. Who have been your influences?
I grew up listening to a lot of Christian music, so of course, a lot of the classics throughout my childhood and stuff. And then, getting older, one of the main things that inspired me to stay committed to figuring out my sound as an artist is because I don't know, there wasn't anything exactly like what I wanted to hear. There wasn't anything that represented God, but that had the sound that I found myself drawn towards. So I kind of decided, you know what, I feel called to trailblaze and be my own inspiration, be an inspiration for younger me. Who would he have been looking for? What kind of music would have helped him avoid some of the stuff he had to walk through? So, of course, there's so many influences, and I can't name them all, but I say right now, I'm trying my best to be the influence that younger me would have needed.
I like that. I like that. That said, your debut single was God Taught Me. It received a lot of attention. What's the story behind that song? Where did it come from?
I had a New Year's show, and it was this big deal for me. I was so excited. It was my first, real concert. I was nervous. I was preparing. I could not wait to go perform in front of about 7 people. And I was like, I knew I was going to drive 3 hours to Orlando and do this New Year's show. And I was like, I need a closing song. I need something that's going to get their attention. And I had writer's block. I couldn't think of anything. So I was stuck for a good 2-3 weeks. And I knew the show was coming up. And I remember I went out to the back of my house and looked up at the stars. And this sounds dramatic, but this is exactly how it happened. I was just like, God, I surrender. I give this to you. You called me to do this music stuff. So I trust you. And then that night I went to sleep. I woke up at 3:34 a.m. with the melody in my head. Next day, wrote the song, recorded it, made the beat, mixed it in an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it was done. And then that was the first one that I put out. And 11 million views later, that kind of started everything. But that's why I keep telling people, just start. If God gives you a calling, don't wait to figure it out. Don't try to be perfect.
Yes.
You're responsible with what he's calling you to execute on. And if you don't take that chance, then he'll have to use somebody else, but he wants to use you.
Absolutely.
In my bedroom, no resources, no experience. We shot the video on a borrowed camera. I invited 20 friends. The only people who showed up were my brother and then 2 guys I met at the mall that I happened to be like, yo, all my friends are going to be in a video shoot. You want to come? Wow. And then again, we still meet up. Every time I go back to Florida, we still meet up. They've been in 3 or 4 other videos since then. But it's just that idea that it started in 2017, no resources, no connections. But if God has a plan, it's going to fall into place.
Amen, amen. Hip-hop culture is very popular, especially among young people. Why do you think younger generations are gravitating towards that world so much?
I mean, hip-hop is the rock and roll of now. So many of the artists who have gone before me, in mainstream music, have been pioneers of the sound, and I think the reason, at least I know why I was drawn to it, there's a feeling that I find listening to it that you don't find in other genres necessarily, especially as I started doing the live shows and going to concerts. It's the energy that you capture in those moments it's different. And I think it's also, I don't know, you can say so much more in that song structure, because you really, I mean, if you got 2 verses, you're saying twice as much as if you were doing like a pop verse.
Yeah.
So I think it resonates with people also because there's that element of like, I see myself in the artists that I look up to, which goes back to the point of who I'm trying to become and who I'm called to be is like younger, you know, listeners and everybody who's like, they're in high school, they're going into college, and like, man, that sound, that look, that feels like similar to me. It's more, I guess, like people can recognize themselves in the art form.
When we look at Gen Z, there's often a lot of negativity surrounding that generation. What's your hope for that generation?
Hey, Gen Z has been under a social experiment that's like, this is the first time in human history. You know, you've got something in your pocket that could pull you into pretty much any negative space possible. You know, there's a lot of mental health issues in this generation due to just this immense pressure. Every day, from the moment you wake up, there's somebody knocking on the door trying to pull your attention, trying to, you know, program you with a belief about yourself or the world around you. And it's a consistent fight. I think the hope that I find is that if those who are trying to control us have the ability to push, you know, this assault on our minds at all times through these devices, through the world that we're in, and God is 10 times more powerful than that. If a couple of us would just say, you know what, I'm ready to take responsibility and be different in order to make a difference, everything could change like that. And I'm starting to see it more and more. I believe with this music, if I'm authentic and if I believe in this, somebody else is going to be able to catch that fire. And then, you know, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, we see it all the time. If you really want to be different, somebody's got to take notice. So I don't think it's a lost cause, you know. I think that we are dealing with like a very unique set of difficult problems that's different, you know, in history, but that's also an opportunity. It's the new Roman roads. What if we use the social media, the music, you know, the ability to connect with all these people to spread the gospel in a way that, you know, you couldn't do 30 years ago. And so we need to be responsible and get on it, because I know the other side's getting on it.
Yeah. As a musician yourself and people watching who want to break through that noise and connect their Christian faith with other people, what advice would you give them? How do you go about making that connection?
Authenticity. I've been in some pretty intense situations where there's still a respect there. It's like you might be completely opposite to what people are doing, their lifestyles. They respect you if you're actually living it. That's been my biggest door opener in any situation, whether it's a studio session, whether it's, you know, networking with other artists, whether it's outreach based, whether it's the concert itself. It's like you have to earn trust by being real. I think the biggest thing, the common denominator that I've seen from people who don't want to follow God or think that that's not for them is because they've been hurt by somebody who claimed to represent it. You know, whether that was a pastor or whether it was a parent. And I don't know, I think that that's what's going to open the doors if you want to be that light. If you want to, whether you're using music, whether you're using, you know, you're in your workplace, you're in your school, whatever it is. I tell everybody every time I hold a microphone, you have stories only you can tell and gifts only you can give. And your survival is proof to someone else that they can make it. So you have a responsibility to represent that. And if you're authentic, if you say, hey, I believe in Jesus, and then your life actually lines up with that, it might take 13 years. That's happened to me a lot. Where it's like the person that you keep investing in, you just keep being consistent. You think they're the last person that wants what you have to offer. Then you're going to get a phone call and they're going to say, hey, I'm sober for the first time in weeks. I want to find God. How do I do that? I don't know any pastors. Can you help me find that answer? And so it's our responsibility to wake up and live on purpose. And I think no matter what our platform is, even if it's just around our family and friends, that's empowering because it gives us a sense of responsibility. Like, hey, them just watching how I live, if I preach the gospel at all times and when necessary use words, that alone could be enough.
Amazing. Beautiful. Zauntee, thank you so much. It's been an honor to sit and talk to you. We really appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. It's an honor to be here.
Indeed, indeed. Now, if you'd like to find out more of what Zauntee is up to, hear some of his music, or check out his latest show, you can do so by heading to his website, zauntee.com, or find him on all social media platforms.
Hello, I'm Gordon Robertson. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more encouraging videos like this one. Welcome to the 700 Club Interactive family, and God bless you.